Hey everyone, this is Mr. Hart. If you're watching this video, it is because I am not at school. Over the next 2 weeks, I get to have a quarantine staycation at my house. I was around someone that tested positive for the coronavirus, so here I am. So that doesn't mean class is going to end. We are still going to be doing work, and I'm still going to try to be providing you with lessons and so on here on Otis that you can do, that you can complete. So we're going to continue building upon what we started in class on Tuesday by looking at rhetorical devices. This packet, if you want to call it, or this information that you see on the screen is information that I gave you yesterday in class, and just looks a little differently because of the font and color and so on. So the first 2 pages is that rhetorical device sheet that I gave you that has the different types of rhetorical devices. If this is your first time seeing this list, just know that we did go over this in class, and here it is, and it's also going to be in your notes here on Otis as well for you to have in the attachments. So these are them, and you can read through them again on your own at your own leisure. Yesterday in class, we looked at 2 speeches, one by Old Major from the novella Animal Farm, and then we also watched Martin Luther King Jr.'s famous "I Have a Dream" speech. If you were not here yesterday, you need to do that. Old Major's speech is found in chapter 1 of Animal Farm. And then I linked up here to YouTube, and right above it is in the National Archives link to Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech. So we talked about what is the injustice, who is in power, who is suffering, and how things should change. And there was a big difference between Old Major and Martin Luther King Jr. on how things should change. Old Major, if you remember, he was more about wanting a revolution or a rebellion to overthrow men, whereas Martin Luther King Jr. was basically, we have to accomplish our goals and our means through from non-violent protests and go for the peaceful protest. Then, if you remember, we read, I had you choose 2 speeches that you had to read, and then you had to do something with. You had to write a quote and tell which rhetorical device it used. So these are here on the screen. Again, if you weren't in class on Tuesday, you can just highlight this link here on FDR and then put it in your search bar up at the top, hit enter, and it'll take you to it. For some reason, I couldn't get it to turn blue on here, but it does work. It does work. So the other ones are President George W. Bush following the 9/11 September attacks, one from Barack Obama's inaugural address, and then an address he gave on the assassination of Osama bin Laden. So we did that in class yesterday. So today we're going to build on that. You're going to be given 2 tasks today to do. So the first one is task 2. This is why I asked you guys yesterday to bring earbuds, something that you could listen to. It says, listen to 2 of the following speeches. How do they demonstrate effective use of rhetoric? So be able to explain using at least 2 examples from the speech. So go back and look at that original paper I gave you yesterday and try to identify which rhetorical devices the speaker is giving, and then summarize it on the sheet you received yesterday. So there are 5 different choices. One by John F. Kennedy, President Kennedy. One by British Prime Minister Winston Churchill. A man named Severin Suzuki. And then there are 2 down there that are a little bit different. One is by a guy named Shane Koizon. And then there's one, a speech from former Apple CEO and the inventor of the iPhone, Steve Jobs, that you can watch. So you choose one of those. They're all about maybe 8 minutes each at the top end. So I want you to watch those, and then on the second sheet, or the sheet that you got yesterday, or on this document, you're then going to explaining the speaker's use of rhetoric for each one for the audio. That's going to lead us then to task 3. Task 3 is going to be a little bit more of a challenge, and I mean that in a very good way. So in task 3, you're going to plan a 2 to 3 minute rhetorical speech that you will write, that you will then record and share with me. Now, I can't be there in person for 2 weeks, but that doesn't mean you can't send it to me via in your Google Doc or through an email. So you're going to follow the pattern in the speeches of Martin Luther King Jr. and Old Major. You can also draw upon the other speeches that you've watched or listened to over the last 2 days as well. So you're going to discuss an issue that you see as unfair or unjust, either at Marshall County High School or in society in general. So you're going to do 4 different things with it. First, you're going to describe the situation. This uses the example from Old Major that he talked about when we read the speech in class. So you're going to tell that the animals' lives, like the example here, the situation is the lives of the animals are terrible. You have to then explain why it's unfair. And our example here again is they do all the work and Jones does nothing. Describe how it should be. The animals do all the work and the men enjoy the results. And then explain what we can do or what you can do. Get rid of man, work hard, work changes things together. So each speech must contain at least 3 different rhetorical devices. And if you get stuck, you can watch a little inspirational video there. But so go back up here to this original sheet or the paper I gave you in class. And I want you to choose one of these, whether you're using alliteration. Okay, you're using that repeating initial consonant syllable sound in your speech. We had the Lucy licked lollipops, and if you remember what I talked about, like Joe Biden's campaign messages, build back better. You could do something like that. And you can have an analogy to make a comparison. You could use that climactic word order that we talked about in class, exaggeration. You can just read through these and choose 3 that you feel will best fit your speech. So here's how you're going to be graded. You have a rubric. The first 3 we're going to be able to do. The last one on this listen to other presentations, that's not going to happen. But for your presentation that you're going to record and send to me, you're going to have strong presentation delivery. That means that you're going to make eye contact. I have no idea what I just did there. You're going to make eye contact. There we go. You're going to be very confident, and you're going to be with enthusiasm. I don't want you getting up there and just reading a speech and being like, I'm going to use this as an example. Identify each of the following word groups as declarative sentence and interrogative sentence. Don't do that. I'm going to give you a bad grade. I'm going to give you like a -5 or something. I know the lowest it says is 1, but come on now, be better than that. Give a good, strong presentation voice. I want to be able to clearly hear your voice, even though if you're doing this at school, it might be behind a mask. I still want to be able to hear your voice. Organization. Make sure that your presentation is it flows. Make sure it's in sequence. Don't want to be jumping back and forth to things. So that listening to other presentations, and we're not going to do that. Then down at the bottom, the content. There are 3 parts to this. Number 1, I want you to make sure you understand what it is you're talking about. Don't just get up there and just read off your topic or be an expert. So whatever it is that you're interested in writing about, I'm actually going to include in this some. If you're one of those people that get stuck and you need help on trying to find something to talk about, I've got something for you. And then your argument. Make sure that your argument is clear. So on this tab here, this will also be in your information on Otis. This is 101 persuasive essay topics by someone named Mr. Morton. So it says whether you are a student in need of a persuasive essay topic, that's kind of what we're doing here, or a teacher, that's me, looking to assign a persuasive essay. It's not an essay, it's just a speech. This is a list of 101 persuasive essay topics that could be used as a great resource. And there are lots of these different ones that you may choose from as a way to prepare your speech. So we need to work on this today. I want the speech and recording needs to be uploaded to me by Friday. On Thursday and Friday, you're going to be doing some different types of work based on what propaganda is. So the sooner you can get this done, the better. If you need, help, please email me and reach out to me if there's anything I can do to help you. You can email, send me a message to Remind, and I'll get it. It is what it is. I wish I was there in person with you. I don't like this very much, but nothing I can do about it. So hope everyone has a great day and takes care.